Peter Bedford.
Thank you, Sir John. It's a pleasure to serve on your chairmanship. Before I begin, I'd like to draw members' attention to my register of interest to note that I serve on the British-American Parliamentary Group. And I'd like to thank the honourable member for Dumfries and Galloway for bringing this important debate before the House. As President George H.W. Bush once said, America has no truer friend than Great Britain. This is a sentiment that has been repeated time and again, but sadly we now find ourselves with a government seemingly intent on weakening this vital bond. We have a Foreign Secretary who, without hesitation, labelled the leader of the free world a racist KKK neo-Nazi sympathiser. We have a Health Secretary who referred to him as an odious little man. And perhaps the most concerning of all, we have a Prime Minister who accused the leader of the free world as, quote, leading an attack on democracy. This is a far cry from the leadership figures like Churchill, Thatcher and even Blair, who understood the value of forging strong and meaningful relations with our closest ally. Unfortunately, it is not just their words of woke condemnation that are cause for concern, it's their actions as well. The Trump administration has been unequivocal in expressing its concerns over the Foreign Secretary's reckless proposal to cede sovereignty over the strategically vital Chagos Islands to Mauritius. Yet the Foreign Secretary pressed ahead, attempting to finalise the deal before President Trump officially took office. This pattern of misguided priorities and dangerous diplomacy cannot be ignored. So I ask, does the government believe the special relationship no longer matters? Prime Minister after Prime Minister, President after President have all been steadfast in their commitment to this enduring relationship. Why? Because both sides recognise that trade is worth over £300 billion, with 1.2 million Americans working in British companies and 1.5 million British citizens working for American firms. The UK imports around £58 billion in goods from the US, and we export £60.4 billion in return. Our Chancellor has stated she is focused on growth, so surely consolidating and strengthening these economic ties must be a top priority. The previous government were in talks with President Trump over a post-Brexit deal that would have seen trade increase by potentially 3, 4 or 5 times. And it's deeply concerning that some members on the government benches, and indeed all those on the Liberal Democrat benches, seem intent on undermining the biggest democratic decision this country has ever made, our decision to leave the European Union. Rejoining the EU customs union would not only be undemocratic, but would also damage our special relationship with American businesses and prevent us from fostering our own independent trade deals. President Trump, as my honourable friend recognised, is an Anglophile. He has property in Scotland. He has a deep sentimental connection with British culture and the royal family. It would be regretful to see that bond undermined by a government determined to placate the cultural left at every opportunity. Therefore, it is essential that the government invites President Trump over for a state visit at the earliest opportunity. This would send a powerful message to the world that the special relationship between our two great nations is as strong as ever. So, to conclude, Sir John, the government must stop playing politics with our national interest. The United States is, and always will be, our greatest ally. We share a history, a culture, and most importantly, a vision for how the world should be. The government must act now to secure our future and preserve the special relationship for generations to come.